Yes, now boxing has a beautiful habit of creating stories that often are hard to believe. Comebacks, outrageous endings, pioneers, fatal consequences, premature endings, vanishings, tainted glory, death and guts and blood. Well, my first guest ticks several of these boxes. Does she ever? She turned pro in 1989 after winning a strongwoman competition, $1,000 to go out and party, as she puts it. And she was not an instant star, okay? She drew her first fight and lost about her third fight. She fought her way, though, to Las Vegas glory and the front cover of Sports Illustrated, Mad Nights. She fought for the last time in 2009. Last November, she was left for dead after being shot and stabbed. She fights again on March 12th in Las Vegas. She's back in the big time, when she should probably be dead. Now, I caught up with the First Lady of Professional Boxing a bit earlier, just after she'd been on a 3-mile run in Las Vegas. Now, to be honest, and I've got to be honest with you, when I first called up with Christy Martin today, I wasn't quite sure what she would sound like, but I could tell she was enjoying it. So I started by asking her how it felt to be back in Tinseltown.
You know what? I am so excited. I really, of course, at the end of my career, and I thought for so long that I may not get the opportunity to get back to fight in Vegas, but to come back after all these years and to fight at the Museum Grand live on Showtime pay-per-view. I'm going to be opening up the show, the pay-per-view show. I'm very, very excited. I'm working really hard, and looking forward to putting on a great show for everybody.
Now, Christy, at the height of your career, which was also the height of women's boxing was at its most popular, you were sharing the bill with Ricardo Lopez and Mike Tyson. Those were crazy days, weren't they?
You know what? Those were days that we're probably not going to see again for, maybe 10 or 15 more years. And hopefully, maybe out of even this Olympics, we'll get some new superstars, some new blood, some new excitement. But when you were on those Tyson cards, it was an event. Everybody that was anybody was at the fights. Walking through the casinos, you saw all the superstars of sports, all the superstars of entertainment. It was awesome. And this is going to be a great show, too, with Cotto and Mayorga.
Of course.
Both fighters bring a lot of excitement, but, again, it's nothing like the Tyson days.
In all fairness, Christy, those two fighters, Cotto and Mayorga, they're your kind of guys, aren't they? They're your kind of fighters, those two guys.
They definitely, they're going to stand there. And, Mayorga, I think I have a little bit of Mayorga in me, too. Put my hands down every now and then, stick my chin out there, and let's see what happens. And Cotto's a warrior. Both guys are warriors. And I think it's going to be a very tough, interesting fight. Maybe better than what some people are giving it credit for.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Now, Christy, is it right that you started boxing after you entered a tough woman competition when you were sort of actually, playing basketball at college and you entered a tough woman contest and won $1,000? Is that true, or is that just one of those fairy tales attached to you?
Nope, that is the truth. I was working on getting my degree in college. My degree is in education, and during those times, I was playing basketball at college, and, so I was in good shape. So people, come on, Christy, enter into this tough woman contest. You win $1,000, we'll all go out and have a party. And, they thought that was a great idea. I get hit, and we all have a party. But, it worked out. I got hooked, and boxing's one of those drugs that it's hard to beat. But it's a great sport. It's a tough business, but it's a great sport. Always exciting, and it's hard to walk away from.
Now, this is also if you win, if you beat Dakota Stoney, who you beat in your last fight a couple of years ago. But this would be your 50th win, and that included in there is. I'm going to ask you about one of your defeats, even though I'm not picking on it. I'm picking on it because you decided to gain so much weight to fight Layla Ali back in 2003. Do you regret trying to put on the weight to fight her? Because she's naturally about 2 stone heavy, 30 pounds heavier than you.
Yeah, she's heavy. She's a much bigger woman than I am. I don't regret it. And to be honest with you, I didn't put the weight on. I weighed in with Army fatigues, combat boots, stuff in my pocket. I weighed about 147 pounds, and she was struggling hard to make 162. But I knew what I was going up against. I knew I was, giving up the height, the reach, the youth. But I still was confident. She caught me early. I would give anything to be able to have a rematch. But at this point in my career, I had said I wanted to get 50 wins. This will be going for my 50th win. And now I'm feeling so good, though, and so happy and so positive. I've asked Mr. Aram, can we go for 60?
Hey, listen.
So we'll see, you know.
Listen, you might as well ask him, can you go for 100? Because I know you're not quitting. In fact, I spoke to some people in the studio here, and they said you just can't keep Christy Martin down, and that's true. But, Christy, things did get very serious last November when you were shot. I mean, look then, like, you know, your life was in danger. Just how serious were the injuries?
I was very close to death. I was stabbed 4 times in the chest. I was shot with a 9mm. The bullet went through about 4 inches from my heart. My calf muscle was almost completely severed from my leg. I was pistol whipped, left for dead by my then husband, Jim Martin, who a lot of people probably know is my trainer and manager. But you know, I was very close to death. It took him quite a while to get me stable in the hospital, but I was able, through praying and through inspiration, through other people in my life now, I was able to get up off the floor. God helped me, and thank God there was a nice neighbor, passerby, that took me to the emergency room, and they were able to save my life.
Because you were actually left for dead in many. You were, weren't you? You were left for dead. It was a miraculous crawl out and then and survival. And then this at the end of it. It's just the most amazing comeback, even by boxing's history.
Well, you know, I as I started to come to in the hospital, I told my family, my parents were there, and as everyone knows now, you know, my girlfriend was there, and I told them all that I was going to be fighting soon. And that I was getting back in the ring, and they could either get on the bandwagon or get off, because I was getting back in the ring. I felt like that was the best therapy that I could go to, and is to get back in the gym and get back in shape and get back to doing what I love to do, and that's fight.
Ah, listen, Christy, and you do love to fight. There have been some memorable nights. And of course, you did end up at one point on the front cover of Sports Illustrated. So anybody that thinks that you were just a flash in a pan, they don't put flash in the pans on the front cover of Sports Illustrated. That's the truth.
Well, thank you very much. And, you know, the thing is, a lot of people, and especially at that time, they were the negative people on my career. They were, oh, it's 15 minutes of fame. And it may have been 15 minutes of fame, but I feel like I've been able to stretch that 15 minutes out for, we're working on 20 years now. So, you know, I think I've been pretty successful as a fighter. I've been very fortunate, able to meet a lot of people, see a lot of things, and enjoy a lot of great times through boxing.
I can tell, Christy, that it's not over yet. Christy, listen, thanks so much for your time this evening. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you waiting for us after your run, and good luck with your fight on the 12th.
Thank you, and I'd like to say hi to all the fans, and especially shout out to John Stracey.
Okay, when I see John, if he doesn't hear this, I'll make sure I pass my regards on to Big John for you.
Thank you very much.
That was Christy Martin talking to me a bit earlier on from her apartment in Las Vegas. She fights there on, I think, the 12th of March. She really was part of a golden period for women's boxing. I'm not necessarily sure the women then were as good as some of the women now, but they were high profile. Ann Wolfe, the crack dealer who'd been in prison, who came out, who seemed unbeatable. Laila Ali, who was phenomenal. Her and Christy Martin did 7,000 tickets. Then there was the woman that no one wants to box, the Dutch stroke kickboxer boxer called Lucia Riker. That was a big time, and she did fight on Tyson bills. Ricardo Lopez would be on. He was unbeaten in about 50 fights. Triple at least, or even quadruple world champion at different weights. But it was Christy Martin who got the publicity right underneath Mike Tyson. And you know what? And she wasn't the most talented of fighters, but she was enormous guts. I got